Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
Trade talks, concern over missile tests, and sumo wrestling. I'm Laura Podesta. I'll catch you up on all the highlights from President Trump's trip to Japan ahead.
And embracing the indoors and the outdoors. That's what makes a success in Montana. We'll have that under the big sky. Just ahead of 6:30 on this Memorial Day Monday, I'm Chet Lehman. Missy O'Malley is off today. Matt has our holiday forecast in a moment. As we just mentioned, President Trump spending this Memorial Day in Tokyo. Day 3 of the president's 4-day state visit to Japan has been a busy one, full of pomp and circumstance, as well as high-stakes talks on security and trade. CBS's Laura Podesta has more.
After a weekend of watching sumo wrestling and playing golf, President Trump got down to business on Monday. The president's whirlwind trip to Japan hit a high note this morning with a formal visit to the country's newly installed Emperor Naruhito. Mr. Trump became the first head of state to greet the emperor, who ascended the throne just 3 weeks ago. The president next headed to the Akasaka Palace for a sit-down with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Kim Jong-un, or Chairman Kim, as some people say, is looking to create a nation that has great strength economically.
North Korea is high on the agenda in Tokyo. On Saturday, the president tweeted, "North Korea fired off some small weapons, which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me." Today, Mr. Trump again expressed confidence that the situation will be resolved peacefully.
He knows that with nuclear, that's never going to happen. Only bad can happen. He understands that. He is a very smart man. He gets it well.
The president also said he supports Abe's effort to reach out to another regime with a fledgling nuclear program, Iran.
Prime Minister's already spoken to me about that, and I do believe that Iran would like to talk, and if they'd like to talk, we'd like to talk also. We'll see what happens.
Abe is reportedly considering a visit to Tehran, possibly by mid-June. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Now, Laura tells us later this morning President Trump will attend a formal state banquet at the Imperial Palace. He'll also participate in Memorial Day events Tuesday before returning to the United States. Almost 32. Matt, a heck of a thunderstorm yesterday over my house. The lightning flashed in my house. The thunder rattled the pictures on the wall. Are we going to see anything like that today?
Probably not like that. It's going to be light rain off and on, but mainly into the afternoon and evening hours. That's when we see the heaviest amounts trying to move through. Not a washout for your outdoor plans, but it may be a little damp from time to time. Right now, mainly looking at an overcast sky. I think that'll be the case for most of the day today. Temperatures into the low 50s to mid 50s for most of the area. You can see mainly overcast conditions to start the day. We'll talk more about the hour-by-hour breakdown of your Memorial Day. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:32 now. Some sad news to pass along. He was perhaps one of the most beloved Packer players of all time. 5-time NFL champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion. Most known for his sneak in the ice ball. But Bart Starr will forever be remembered not only for his contributions as a player, but how he conducted himself off the field.
Long before Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre became NFL stars, the original star at quarterback in Green Bay was Bart. The legendary Packers signal caller passed away at the age of 85. And while Vince Lombardi may have been the driving force behind those championship teams in the 1960s, it's pretty clear that Starr was the leader who brought it all together on the field. On a team with several future Hall of Famers, Starr led the Packers to 5 championships in 7 years and still has the best passer rating in playoff history and overall winning record during the postseason. During his 16-year career, Starr went to 4 Pro Bowls and was named Super Bowl MVP twice, along with being the league MVP in 1966. And right now, he's just one of 6 players in Packers history to have his number retired in the green and gold. Just 4 years after retiring, Starr returned to Green Bay's sideline as their head coach. But the success he saw as a player never really materialized over 9 seasons, and he was let go in 1983. Through it all, the former Alabama native brought a sense of class and kindness to a tough man's sport. And for anyone who's ever been to Lambeau Field on Alumni Weekend in the past, no former Packers star shined brighter than Bart Starr, or was loved by the fans more than him.
And welcome back, Bart Starr!
Now, in a statement released by Star's family, his wife Cherry said he had, quote, hoped to make one last trip to Green Bay to watch the Packers this fall, but he shall forever be there in spirit. Back here in the Treasure State now, Billings Senior High School students took the stage at the Metro for graduation this weekend. This morning, we meet a senior high student who, despite abuse and disability, is loved at senior high and in her new home. TN's Mitch Loggy shares her story.
Me being in foster care, me being really sick and always being out of school, I didn't think I would make it. So it's a pretty big deal to me.
Meet Kiki, an 18-year-old senior high student, soon to be an alum. It wasn't an easy road for her to get to senior year, though. Kiki was born with a genetic condition that left her legs underdeveloped. She has been wheelchair-bound for her entire life. That's difficult enough, but life would throw Kiki more challenges. She faced physical abuse at home. Then after a brief stint at a relative's house, it was back to the foster system. Now in high school, Kiki met the foster parents she would eventually call Mom and Dad.
I was just so happy. I'm like, when can I move in? And they're like, anytime. And the next day I moved in with them. And it didn't take long until I asked them if I could start calling them Mom and Dad. They seemed like they were the real deal. And I was like, I might as well just start calling them that because I'm going to be here for a long time.
November her freshman year, Kiki transferred to senior as she found it a better fit. Struggling with sickness and missed school, Kiki credits her teachers for keeping her on track for graduation.
I worked my butt off to try to pass all my classes freshman year. They always wanted to know how I was feeling, because they knew what was going on at home. They were just always there for me, and I feel like if it wasn't for my teachers, I wouldn't be graduating.
With a story like this one, it's hard not to be moved. I asked her if she ever gets tired of being labeled an inspiration.
At times I do get tired of it, but because if I'm that inspiring to have people go out and do stuff that they were scared of or that they didn't know what to do about, then that just makes me really happy because I'm changing people's lives without really knowing it.
Good luck, Kiki. After Sunday, the world is yours for the taking. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
By the way, Kiki tells us she will attend Rocky Mountain College in the fall to study equine therapy. Shifting gears again, in this week's Under the Big Sky, Locati Architects in Bozeman understands the impacts Montana's four-season has on our lives. They've embraced the relationship between indoor and outdoor and have made that relationship an essential element of their design philosophy.
Under the Big Sky is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Vein Clinic and Markovich Real Estate.
A lot of our spaces expand out to outdoor living areas. That outdoor living area is as important as the great room or as the kitchen. Started a lot of our design process and projects in the Northwest. There's 4 seasons. Those 4 seasons are 100% different in how you use the space. There's 2 seasons. That connection to an outdoor living space is very important. Late fall and winter, that outdoor living space is not so pleasant, but that connection between outdoor and indoor is still equally as important. We still want to feel like we can go out and ice skate on the pond, but we have that feeling from inside. The room becomes kind of an organic space. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the philosophical side of architecture. I eventually got there, but I attacked it from the other side. To me, the practical side of architecture was more something I could really sink my teeth into and understand, and then kind of work my way back into why do I see it that way? Why am I designing it this way? All of my partners and people that work at the office, they've learned that same procedure where don't be afraid to get that idea down. What is it? And then develop it. As opposed to spending weeks and weeks and weeks of being afraid to sketch something up. Those next buildings are in our head. And it's really rediscovering ourselves every project and really wanting to come up with something new.
And of course, you can watch and rewatch all of our Under the Big Sky stories by visiting our websites. We're going to take a quick break, but first here's a look at what's coming up on Montana This Morning and CBS This Morning.
On this Memorial Day, 16 World War II veterans are heading to Europe to mark the 75th anniversary of D-Day. I'm Wendy Gillette. I'll bring you their stories.
Ahead on CBS This Morning, the unbelievable story of survival. Hear from the rescuers who found a 35-year-old hiker who was trapped for 17 days inside a Hawaii forest, and she had a broken leg. Yikes, we love this girl. And for those who are off work this Memorial Day, lucky you, will have the best ways to make the most of your holiday and the surprising benefits of doing absolutely nothing. Please let us know how that feels. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.